Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the L&S Crafts channel. My name's Lorraine and I'm coming to you from Kent in the UK. For those of you that are joining me for the first time, welcome. I hope that you find something of interest to you in this video and on my channel generally. Do feel free to get involved in the discussion in the comments section of the video. If you have any questions that are not answered in the video, feel free to ask your questions below the video in the comments section and I will do my best to answer any queries you have. I tend to try to put as much information as I can in the description box below the video, so there will be timestamps down there for the different sections, and also I try to give links to either my project pages on Ravelry for the stuff that I've been working on, or links directly to the patterns that I have used. So check out the description box for any information. If there's anything missing that you have a question about, then feel free to ask in the comment section below the video. For those of you that are returning, thanks for coming back. As always, it's lovely to see you, to interact with you in the comments, and to find out what you've been doing. So the last few weeks have been a little bit strange. I have managed to, well, I did catch a cold over last week. I was intending to do a video last week, but I caught a cold and I was feeling a bit sorry for myself and very sniffly, and I didn't want to subject you to that in a video. So I've waited until this week to do another video. I feel a lot better. I do still have like some lingering symptoms, but nothing major. It's very warm here in the UK. I think today is supposed to be about 30 degrees, so I'm trying to get this video done while it's relatively cool before I start burning up in this room. So let's go straight into the finished objects. So my first finished object is the African Travel Lady number 6, number 426, sorry, that's the pattern, that's the chart there, that's what it looks like. I bought it on Etsy because I like the look of it, and so I've been stitching on this since February. I've managed to finish it. I'll insert what it looks like in the last video. There was a little square section at the bottom that needed completing, and I finished that, and I have now completed the whole design, and this is what it looks like. I'm really pleased with it. It's my first finished full coverage piece, and I'm really chuffed with it. I've made a couple of mistakes. I've made quite a few mistakes throughout the project, but nothing that I'm really going to be thinking about in years to come when it's on display. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how it turned out. This is stitched on 14 count Zweigart Ada. I presume it's Zweigart, or should I just say Ada? 14 count Ada. Not sure of the colour because it's a fabric that was given to me. I'm stitching it. I have stitched it 2/1 and using anchor threads because that's what the chart was designed with, anchor threads, or that's what was given to me in the pack. So when I bought the chart, I got just the chart itself. I got a thread conversion chart with DMC and anchor threads, and anchor was the original thread that had been charted using, so I decided to go with the anchor. So yeah, so that's where it is. I finished it. I'm really pleased with it. I made a number of mistakes throughout this because it was a longer term project than I'm used to. It was my first full coverage. I seem to have made a mistake on the chin there somewhere with a darker spot there and a lighter spot there. The darker spot just looks like a beauty spot, and I just figure that the lighter spot, you're not really going to see that from like this kind of distance. I'm planning to frame and hang it, but I haven't yet made any moves to do that. So that's something to do in the future. I'm really pleased that I got it finished. I worked on this, I started on this in February and I finished it just a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the way the colours turned out. I have seen other versions of this design, and the colour in the headdress is a lot more vibrant, but I'm still pleased with how mine turned out. I'm very pleased with the detail, and it is, having got to this point and still being happy with it, it has kind of made me think I actually enjoyed working this full coverage piece, and I will do more in the future. I have a couple of other pieces that I have, a couple of other designs. I've showed you my Heaven and Earth Designs piece that I was working on, or that I have started. That's a work in progress, so that's one. And the next one I'll show you in my works in progress. But yeah, those I am keen to do some full coverage pieces now, based on the fact that I have worked on this. The only thing that I actually enjoyed using the Ada for a full coverage piece, and I find that I'm working on a Heaven and Earth Designs piece, and that's on 25 count fabric, a 25 count Lugana, and at the moment I'm less inclined to go to that piece than to my other work in progress, because the stitch count is smaller, so it requires a little bit more effort in terms of my eyes, and also because it's finer, I have to be more careful about my placement of stitches, whereas with the Ada it's pretty easy to just find the holes and go in them because of the nature of the Ada fabric. It's more beginner friendly, I suppose. So working this piece on 14 count, it was pretty easy to find the holes. The hole needle placement hasn't been an issue with this. I do think that if I do another full coverage, I'd like to try it on 18 count Ada next time and see how I get on with that, because I think that I could probably get a little bit more detail on the design. Yeah, I just like to have a go and see how that works out for me. But I'm really pleased with how this 14 count project turned out, and I'd quite happily do another one of these. It wasn't taxing on my eyes, and I found it a really enjoyable stitch. So yeah, that's my first finished object. My second finished object is the, I don't have the paperwork, caterpillar cross stitch, made to create stitch along. So that was running, that has just come to an end now, and I've finished, it was in 6 parts, and I've now finished the last part. At the last video it looked like this, and now I have a complete, I got the last part on the 25th of June, and that was after I recorded, well, the day that I recorded this video, I think, not this video, the last video. And so after I recorded that video, I got to work on finishing up the Made to Create stitch along, and this is what this one looks like. So this is finished now. That is the complete design. So it's Made to Create by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. This is on 16 count Zweigart Ada in the colour Dirty. It's stitched 2/1, and these are DMC threads. So the threads are fine. I enjoyed the threads and the colours. The thing I have about this is that although I enjoy the stitching, I was more drawn to doing the African Lady on the other side than to doing this. And generally I tend to enjoy working lots of colours. I did the Seahorse, the Bothy Threads Seahorse piece that I finished earlier on in the year, and I loved that piece. But working this piece, I didn't have as much of, there wasn't as much excitement on this piece as I had for the Seahorses or for the African Lady, and I'm not quite sure why I didn't have that excitement over this design. I didn't enjoy doing the tape because I made mistakes on this. So where I was stitching, I think I tried to stitch it in lines down and then across, and then I kind of, that didn't quite work for me in terms of concentration. So then I did sections across. I did the bottom and worked, you know, lines across, little sections across, and worked up. It just, I didn't enjoy doing the tape. the tape measure at all on this, and I messed up around here, and so my brush, I don't know if you can see, is a little bit wonky at the end because my stitch count was off, and I didn't realise until I went to do the brush that my stitch count was off for the tape measure. So that was a bit of a pain for me. I did enjoy the fact that I could do these little kind of motifs quickly. So those were kind of a little bit of fun to work on a little tiny piece at a time. But for some reason I didn't get as much pleasure out of this stitch as I normally have done, and especially with the other caterpillar cross stitch pieces, I've enjoyed them a lot more than this one, and I'm not entirely convinced that the border for this is to my taste to be honest. I could have changed it, I know I could have, but I wanted to just stay true to the chart and just do it and see if I liked it when it was completed. Because when I started doing this, I was like, why are we using black for the corners and everything else is really bright, vibrant colours? I wasn't quite sure about this, but then I thought, okay, just go with it and see how it pans out. And I just kind of think that next time, I think I will probably pay a little bit more attention to my personal taste rather than just following the chart, just because that's what it says on the chart. I saw a lot of people on the Facebook group who have decided to not bother to do the border, or to do the border in colours that they want to do. You know, some people have actually done some of the main piece in their own colours. Some have changed the colour fabric. People tend to do whatever they feel they're going to enjoy in their finished piece. And I think that was a mistake that I've made on this piece, is that I didn't enjoy the black corners on the design, and so I think perhaps I should have just done either a different border or probably just left the border off altogether. But it's done now. It is a finished piece. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it. I've seen somebody has made their one into a project bag, and I'm thinking that might be a good idea. Or I could put it on stitch it to a tote bag, a fabric tote bag, and use it that way. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this yet. It's not my favourite piece, sadly. I have to be honest, it's not my favourite piece. I'm glad that it's finished. I did enjoy stitching the smaller motifs, and even these bits. I enjoyed stitching this. I think this was my favourite piece to stitch on this design, was the colour palette. I loved that. That was fun. But yeah, it's a very creative piece, but I'm not sure where this is going to belong in my home. So yeah, I'm kind of trying to think about this, and I'm thinking, it's made me think that next time I do a stitch along, it might be, I mean, maybe it's made me think, do I do another stitch along? Because I'm not overly keen on this piece. Do I, because I didn't really get as involved with seeing what everybody else was doing until I got to, I think, the R on that one, which was probably about part 4, and then I started to look at what other people were doing. So really it wasn't so much of a stitch along for me, because I was just kind of just plodding along and not really engaging. So I'm kind of trying to decide whether I do any more stitch alongs in the future, or if I should just put this one down to experience and have a go at another one, but maybe do a stitch along from another designer and see how that pans out. Yeah, I don't know, but it is making me think that perhaps I should try a stitch along from another designer for a bit more variety, and possibly, because I've looked at things like I think Caroline from Friday Off the Grid, she talks a lot about modern folk embroidery, and I think he does stitch alongs, and I love his pieces, and I haven't got anything like the designs that he's got. So I'd like to do one of those, but I think I'm going to try and finish up some stuff first anyway. But I'm thinking I may try and do one of the modern folk embroidery designs and see how I get along with those, because I do enjoy I love the look of those, and those can be monochrome as well. So I think I would enjoy one of those. If you guys have done any modern folk embroidery, share your thoughts. Let me know how it worked out for you, or how stitch-alongs in general worked out for you. What do you think about them? Do you enjoy them? Are they fun? What do you do if a piece is not quite turning out the way that you might like it to? Do you have any suggestions for what to do with this final piece? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below the video. The last finished object I have is the item I am wearing. So, where's my pattern? I started this after my last video. I have this pattern. I've had this pattern in my stash for a long time. It's called the Cityscape Tank. It's by Lisa K. Ross, and this is what it looks like here. You can't really see too well from the picture, and unfortunately my iPad has just died. Here we go. Here's a better picture. It's black and white, so unfortunately it's not great. If I can, I'll try and insert a picture from Ravelry of what the top looks like. But it's an easy top to do. I've done it very quickly. I think I knit this up in the space of about 6 to 7 days, and it's very simple. It's just a vest top really, with ribbing. So let me kind of get on my knees and show you. So it's got twisted rib around the neck. It's a rounded neck. There's no ribbing around the arm. It's a what do you call this? I-cord bind off on the armholes. It uses twisted rib on the side panels and the waistband, and I really like the way this turned out. So the yarn that is used on this pattern is a DK weight yarn. She uses a silk blend, which is 70% wool and 30% silk. I have used a bamboo. So I've used a King Cole bamboo. This is bamboo viscose and cotton. So it's 50% bamboo viscose, 50% cotton, and I'm using King Cole bamboo, and the colourway I'm wearing is fuchsia. It's the shade 536. That's what it says there. Bright pink, out of my comfort zone, not the kind of colour I would normally wear generally, but I wanted something bright and different, and it goes nicely with, to kind of offset the black that I'm wearing today. Yeah, the back of it, hopefully you can see, it comes high at the back, so it's just a normal kind of tank shape, and it sits on the waist, well just above, well actually slightly on the hips, but I love the way it works, and the rib is very forgiving, because if you've got a bigger bust than me, the rib will pull it out a bit, gives you a bit more space. So you've got a bit more space for your bust area. It's slightly fitted once you've knit it up, or once I knit it up, it's slightly fitted, more fitted. But where I've worn it a couple of times now, it's stretched a little bit more, so it's a little bit more comfortable and less unforgiving in the tummy area. When I first tried it on, it showed my little belly, and I wasn't overly keen on that, but now it's not so, it's hanging a bit better at the moment. So I think if you block it, it works out. It actually hangs nicely. I haven't blocked it because I just wanted to try it on and wear it straight away. So yeah, so that is the Cityscape Tank. So I used my normal twist chow goose, and I used 3.5mm needles for the ribbing, and then 4mm for the main body. The bust I'm using, I'm a 36 bust in tops, so I had to go down a size slightly because a 36 was not on there, but it is designed to be worn with 1 to 2 inches of negative ease, so it's meant to be slightly more fitted, which works fine. And I did I even do a gauge swatch? I don't think I did a gauge swatch, because usually what I did, instead of doing the gauge swatch, I started knitting, and then I checked, once I'd done a few inches of the actual knitting, I checked, did my gauge swatch from that, and then I was happy with that, so I just continued in the pattern, because I actually got gauge, so I was fine with that. The only thing that I would change on this is possibly there's one part in the instructions that is not mentioned. So one of the abbreviations is missing for one of the instructions, but I could kind of figure out what it was meant to be. And somebody did mention it on Ravelry that one of the abbreviations is not defined. But also the other thing I noticed was that with the ribbing, on one side of the ribbing it looks nice and neat, the whole section here. So on this side the holes look a lot bigger than on the back bit, because of the decreasing, because of the way that the increasing works, and the decreasing actually, yeah. It looks slightly, the holes here are slightly more gapier than the holes on the back, and that tends to show for both sides. I think you can probably see the holes are more gapier on this side than on this side. So I wasn't quite sure how to fix that. So I just carried on. I tried to pull the yarn slightly tighter, but it didn't make much difference. I mean, it doesn't really show when you're wearing it. No one's going to see that. But it did bother me a bit initially that the holes were more gapier on one side than the other. But yeah, overall, I'm pleased with the top. It works out fine, it fits perfectly, and I've been able to wear it straight away, and I love the coolness of the fabric. This actual yarn, I've used this a number of times in different summer tops, so I knew it was going to be one that worked for me. I used 2.5 balls of wool, 100 grams, these are each 100 grams, and this, what I've got left over, is about 50 grams. So, you know, it's not 2.5 balls of yarn, and I think the balls are about £4.50 a ball, something like that. So yeah, I thought it was reasonable for what I've got. I've got a top that fits perfectly, and I love the way that the neck is shaped. I'm really enjoying this top in this warmer weather, and I've enjoyed it so much I decided to start another one. So I will show you that in whips. So yeah, so this is my last finished object. Really pleased with it. Let me know what you guys think. And let's move on to works in progress. As I mentioned, I have another one of these tops on the go, and this time I'm using a different yarn. So I was gifted some yarns which came from a B&M store, and I mentioned B&M last week. If I can find the labels. Right, I've got these labels. So they are called Glamorous Yarn, it says here. Sparkle Glamorous Yarn with a hint of shimmer. It's 150 grams of knitting yarn. That's the label. And it's 91% acrylic and 9% metallic. That's what the label looks like. And I have the cream one, which has cream sparkle in it. Not sure if the camera's picking that up. It's a little bit dirty, so it's going to have to be washed once it's knitted up, because the yarn got a bit dirty. That's that one. And I also have the gold one, and the gold one has gold flecks in it. So what's happened, somebody gifted me some yarn, and I'm not quite sure how much I was gifted. So I had the gold, and then I got to a point on the knitting where I feel like I'm not going to be able to finish the top with the gold. So I'm going to need to do something clever with the other colour, with another colour. So I have a pink one as well, with pink specks in it, but I decided that this one is probably not the right colour to add to the mix. So let me show you what I've done. I've got kind of halfway with this. So this is what it's looking like at the moment. So I've done the bottom, this is the main section with the ribbon in the gold, and because I'm running out of gold, I thought it might be a good idea to start incorporating some cream and making the top bit cream. So I've done a couple of stripes in the gold to kind of introduce the cream colour before I've moved straight into just the cream. So that's what it's looking like at the moment. you can see it's got a bit of a, it's pulled in. It looks really small, but when you pull it, it has that stretch because it's a rib. It's got that stretch, the twisted rib. So yeah, I'm at the point where I am now shaping the top of the rib here. So that's what this section is, along here. And then eventually, won't be long before I'll be able to do the shape for the armholes, divide for the top, and then do the shoulders and finish it off. So my plan is to continue in the cream colour, this cream colour, until I get to about here, and then if I've got, hopefully I have enough gold left, and I just finish the top section off in the gold. So all of this section would be cream, and then this section would just be gold at the top. Hopefully, if I've got enough. I'm not sure I'm going to have enough to do the ribbing as well, so I might have to rethink how I do this, but that's the plan. The plan was to get up to here, use the gold for this section, and maybe if I've got enough I could try and get the rib in the gold as well, but I have to see how I get on and see how it looks. But yeah, so that's where I've got to on this. It's going to be slightly warmer because the fabric itself is warmer, being acrylic, so I'm not quite sure how it's going to feel. I don't suppose I could wear it in the heat that we're experiencing today. It would have to be for another day that's warm but not too warm. So yeah, so that's where I am with this, and I'm pleased with how it's looking so far. I've got a little bit left to do. I can't wait till I can get to the armhole section and then decide what to do for this bit, and even try it on. I could try it on now, but I think I'm just going to wait and see what happens. But yeah, you can probably see better on this example. So you can see the holes here that I was talking about. The holes are more gapy on this side of the rib than on this side. I'm not quite sure how to deal with that because I'm doing make one right and make one lefts on these, but it doesn't seem to, the holes are much more gapy on one side. If you've got any suggestions, let me know. So that's that. So that's how far I've got with that, and that is the Cityscape Tank by Lisa K. Ross. Again, it's the same as the pink one but a different yarn. So that's my first work in progress. I've also been back to cross stitching. I have been working on this one. So this one is Lakeside Village. That's the design I've been working on. I've been working on the top section here, and I've got the middle section to do. So this is a Dimensions kit, Dimensions Gold Collection kit even. This was gifted to me. So it's all Dimensions threads. It's on 16 count, blue Ada, stitched 2/2. Let me just take my stitch marker, my needle minder off. So I've been trying to get this finished before I do this video, but unfortunately I haven't managed to get to that point, and I just wanted to get a video out to show you what's going on. So this is where it was last time, and this is where we're at now. So you can see I'm trying to complete this section here, and then I will have finished the whole of the top 2 pages. So then I have to do 2 more pages, the bottom part of the other 2 pages, but I'm nearly finished the top 2 pages, and I'm really excited for this. It's really coming together. It looks like something. This section then has like a boat in it, so then I have to decide what to do. So let me put the picture here. So this is where we are. So you can see then I've got water to add to the bottom bit here, and a boat. So I'm thinking if I do this water section, so the bottom of this page first, over here, that should be quicker because it's blocks of colour. So that should be quicker to get done, and then this bit is a little bit more detail, a lot more changing of colours. So if I can work on this side, then I might be able to speed through this a bit quicker. But I'm really loving how this is working out, and I'm thinking I want to get this one finished up before I go back to my Heaven and Earth Designs piece, because this one I don't have as much problem seeing it, and because I'm working from the chart and not from Pattern Keeper and the chart with the Heaven and Earth Designs piece. I've been working from the chart to start with, and then I went to Pattern Keeper, then I've had to go back to the chart. So I'm kind of, each time I've got to figure out where I am on the paper or on the Pattern Keeper. So whereas this one I've just been working off the chart the whole time, and so I can follow it quite easily. I know where I am, I know which bits I've done because I've shaded it. So yeah, this is a lot easier to follow at the moment because I'm working from a paper chart. I think that I may prefer to work from the paper chart for these kind of designs, just in case if I don't have access to Pattern Keeper I can't continue because I don't know where I am. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, some of these, like I think I've mentioned it before, bits like this were stitched half cross stitches. These are half cross stitches. Some of these are 3 strands, like the clouds are 3 strands. This is 2 strands, and these are all half crosses. But when it comes to the actual detail of the design, these are full crosses. So that's why this lot is taking a lot longer. This is more detail and it's more dense, but it works out fine. I think my back is quite neat as well. I've been trying to be a bit more careful with the back. I was doing some pin stitches here and there, and then I kind of stopped doing that, and I've just been carrying threads because it doesn't really matter with the front because it's full coverage. No one's going to see the carriage of threads at the back, so unless I'm using whites, which are really not that big, not very big areas on this project. So yeah, so I'm really pleased with how Lakeside Village is working out. Because I finished, I think I mentioned in my last video that when I finish the African lady piece, I was going to start a new cross stitch piece because I want to get my Christmas stocking up, or started at least. So I pulled that out and I've had a go at that. So I showed that in the last video. That's this piece. This is Santa's sidecar stocking. It's another dimensions kit, and it's a stocking. It's not a full coverage design. You can see bits of the bits that are blue here around the edges are the bits that are not stitched. So that should kind of take a little less time than a full coverage piece. I have, again, it's on 16 count blue Ada, and sorry, not 16, 14 count blue Ada. This one is. The Lakeside Village was 16 count, I think, wasn't it? Is it 16? Yeah, this one is on 16 count Ada, and this is on 14 count Ada. And with the stocking, there are, from what I could see on the chart, there weren't any combinations of threads, so it's just one colour used, just solid colours used, no mixing, no blending of colours, and it's all, as far as I can see, full cross stitches. So that should be, it requires a little less concentration than Lakeside Village. So let me just take my needle minder off of this piece and the pattern, and I'll show you where I'm on this. So I have been working on this blue present and part of the tree here. Hopefully you can see that. And so this is where I'm at the moment. I've done part of that. There is some back stitching on this piece, so it's not, hopefully you can see that. There's back stitching on there that I haven't done. I'm going to wait till the end before I do the back stitching, or at least until I've done particular sections, but that's where I am with this. I'm pleased with it. I have made a couple of mistakes already that I've had to go over, and I seem to have caught some red thread behind a green one here, but I mean it's not that big a deal for me because it's a Christmas stocking. But actually the outline, I've got part of the outline here is half cross stitching. I'm not sure if you can see that pale blue around the outside of the present. That's half cross stitches, so that worked up quickly. But yeah, this was, I've been working on this. I did 2 days I think on this, and a couple of hours. It was fun just doing that. But then I wanted to wanted to make some progress on the Lakeside Village one, so I put it down again. But I've at least made a start on that one now. I also made a start on another piece that I forgot to show you last time, and I had decided that I want to try and work on some of the kits that I'm getting from my magazine. So I've been buying the World of Cross Stitching, and I've been buying the Cross Stitcher, and I like the little kits that they have with them, and I just kind of collect the kits, stick them in a drawer, and just decide later whether or not I want to do them. So one that I got recently with, which one was it with? I think this was with World of Cross Stitch. It's this Home Sweet Home piece, and I thought I'd have a go at this. It looked like it would be a quick stitch. It says on it 6 hours it should take to do this. I thought it was quite cute, and it comes with a little hoop. So I made a start on it, and then I stopped because I was trying to finish the other bits. So it was a little bit more fiddly than I had anticipated at the time. So that's where I'm at with this one. I've got Home on there. I haven't done, did I do the back stitching? Yeah, I did some of the back stitching. This is the thing, I did the back stitching in the wrong colour, so I had to rip it out and start again. So that's probably why I ran out of steam on this for the time being, but that's what it looks like at the moment. I've got Home. I've just got to do the flowers and stuff around it, and you know, continue on with the other words. But yeah, that was a little fun. Hopefully when things calm down a bit, I might be able to finish this off. And the needle minder is from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, the little cupcake. It's cute. So yeah, that's my cross stitching. I think that's all I have to show for my works in progress section. I've put all the threads from that piece on a thread minder, thread holder, just because it's easy to separate them off. It's easier to just pull for the threads rather than just have them just floating around in the bag. I thought it was easier to just use the thread holder. So that's that. The last thing I have to share with you is my incoming. So let's move into that. So, because of the fact that I needed a thread for my African lady cross stitch, I'd run out. So I wanted to put in an order with Wool Warehouse for that thread, and since I was making an order, I thought, well, I might as well make it worth the postage and order some more yarn. So I picked up some more bamboo cotton yarn, and this is in the colour Lemon. And at the time I thought it would be a great idea to use this to make another one of these tops and have a yellow top, because I don't think I possess any yellow, and I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone with colours that I wear. So I thought I would have a nice yellow top. And since buying these, I'm kind of thinking, yellow, is it really going to work for me? Is yellow really my colour? But I've got 4 balls of yarn in the yellow to try another Cityscape tank top or another pattern, because I do have other patterns that I want to try as well. And I figure I've got a spare one, because I'll only need, if I do the Cityscape one, this one, then I'll only need 2.5 of these. So I will have a ball and a half left to do something else with. So I was thinking I could perhaps knit up this little pattern. This I got from a magazine, Simply Knitting magazine, a long time ago, and I thought the little cardigan was really cute for a baby, in a cotton. And so I'm thinking I might just have a go at making this in a larger size for one of my little nieces. And I wouldn't want to do the bonnet. I think she's a bit old for the bonnet, but the cardigan might be cute. So I may just knit that up in the yellow for my little niece, but we'll see. That is it. That's my incoming. Just the yarn and the pattern I already purchased. That's it. I don't have anything else that's come in. I hope that this video hasn't been too long. I'll try and put as much information as I can in the description box, so you can follow what I'm saying. If you have any questions though, do feel free to leave them in the comment section below the video. Hope you're enjoying the sunny weather and you are all well, and hopefully I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time with my next video. Hopefully by then I will have finished this top, because this moves along quite quickly, and I'll be able to show that off to you. So watch this space, and a little bit of Lakeside Village. So yeah, watch this space. See you in a couple of weeks' time. But until then, take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.